What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're enjoying Blade XLord as much as I am so far, and that you're having good luck with all of your rerolls. So you might have seen by now there's a tier list on the English wiki and the Japanese wiki, and there's 3 characters that are at the very top for the beginning of the game. Those are the ones that you want to shoot for. So for this video, we're going to talk about them, those being Alicia, Shyus, and Heath Bell. We're going to talk about why they're so good and why it's worth rerolling for them. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to start off with Alicia for this video, and here we have the English tier list. This is what we have currently available in the game. As you can see, we've got Alicia, Shyus, and Heath Bell all at the top in the SS tier, and then below that there's an S, A, and B tier. And you might notice also that your starting characters, Ride, Fianna, Yars, are in the B tier, and then we have Meryl up in the A tier. So those starting characters are nice, but they're not going to get you all the way in terms of power. So there's definitely some characters that you can replace them with. So we'll get into this, but we'll quickly take a look at the Japanese tier list. You can see there's a lot more characters, including upgraded versions of the characters that we started with. So for example, here we have Knight Ride, and he is the top of the tier. So it's really cool if you like Ride that there's going to be new versions of them, and there's also going to be new versions of everybody. So that's pretty awesome. So getting into Alicia, she is an attack roll type, and you might notice that all 3 of the top SS tier are all attack rolls. So they're all just really strong characters. They're not tanks, they're not healers, and they're all gonna be really well statted, but they're also gonna have special, their abilities are going to be better suited to working with a party, better suited to breaking bosses, to dealing mass amounts of damage compared to other units that just don't have as good abilities or passives. So taking a look at her, she's a fire unit, she uses dual swords, and her unit weapon is the Antares and Akrab, which are her like SSR weapons. If you can get those, that's pretty cool. They're just really good for that specific unit. So when you max her, you can see that she gets a whole lot of stats over here. The one thing I've noticed with these 3 SS units is they all have high HP for attackers, but still have decent other stats. If you look around at some of the other attackers and compare them in the S and A and B ranks, you'll notice that they just have slightly lower values all around, unless they're a magic attacker, then they have high magic attack. So looking down, there's some information about her crafting abilities and all that, which is a whole nother video, but we're really going to talk about her battle skills. So with Alicia, you can get a bunch of damage abilities, but you can also get some buffing capabilities and some debuffing capabilities, and those are really important. You might notice that a lot of weapons give buffs to specific elements, which encourages you to have a party of all fire characters, or have a party of all light characters. And that's why they're telling, you might have heard, oh, pull for light characters, because if you get Heath Bell, you get the tank, you get all these, there's some really good light characters, so that's what you should shoot for. But the nice thing about Alicia is that she has these abilities that boost anybody. So we'll take a look through her skills here. So first up is Red Pierce. We're going to just read the max level here. Deals 300% physical damage and moderate disruption to an enemy. She has Swallowtail, and that's for 70% physical damage on an enemy. And if you hit a disrupted enemy, that will inflict burn. So that's really good if you have another unit that can disrupt as well. And then here's the good one. It's That's an Order, and that greatly boosts the attack and magic attack of an ally. So it's both, which is just amazing. So if you have this ability, you're going to be able to boost your other units, especially when a boss is broken, and deal massive amounts of damage. And it doesn't matter what element they are. So that's part of the reason why she's so good. She also has Cross Edge, which is just a huge attack, and it gets even bigger if you hit a crit. Her Brave skill is super strong, so it only costs 2 brave points, 2,920% physical damage attack, and great disruption to an enemy. So obviously that's a super strong brave skill. And then her auto skill, Wave Crest Tactics, increases the brave gauge by 2 at the start of battle. That's huge. So right at the start, you can use Red Dead Cyclone right off the bat because you have her in your party. And then she even gets Sword Break, which decreases the attack or magic attack of your opponent while using auto attack. So she's just going to be debuffing the boss while she's swinging at it. So these are all really good skills. And if we look over, so that was the English wiki. We're looking over the Japanese wiki here, and you can use Google Translate to check this out as well. So they have her ranked. They have more detail here, but they have her just ranked really highly as a breaker, as a damager, and they also just kind of talk about some similar stuff, that she's just really strong. Her attack buff is quite useful, and you would want to check out this wiki because it's going to give you a bunch of suggestions for ideal equipment, including the accessories, the engravings, and other types of equipment that you can use as sub weapons and as main weapons and other accessories, etc. So next up, we are going to move on to Shyus. And we'll just go over to his wiki page here. So Shyus is a wind unit, and he has a dual weapons as well. He's an attacker, and he gets some pretty big stats. So if we go back to Alicia, you can see there's not really too much of a difference between them. They have fairly similar stats. Looking down at Shyus, we'll take a look at his skills as well, so we'll see why he's so powerful, because they all have good stats, right? So his first skill is Falling Leaf Slice, which deals through 20% physical when hit from the side. So again, this is just like Alicia. It doesn't matter if you have 4 different elements in your party. When you have Shyus using Falling Leaf Slice on the enemy from the side, all of your units are going to do more damage, and that is just really powerful. His next ability is Alabaster Dragon Holy Slice, which is probably the greatest skill name ever, and it deals 420% physical damage and greatly reduces your cooldown. So again, this is a really nice buff that's going to allow you to quickly use your skills over and over. And then he has Wind God's Fury, which is 650% physical damage and a great deal of break damage to all enemies in the area of effect. And then Twin Comets, which is 1360% physical damage, and it strikes twice when hitting a disrupted enemy and resets the speed of your cooldowns. So this is pretty nice because, again, let's say you're lucky enough to have Alicia and Shyus, then you have someone that can disrupt, and then Shyus can come in and hit twice with his most powerful skill, which is clearly pretty good. His Brave skill can reduce the cooldown of all forest allies and reduce their skill cooldowns. It sounds the same, but that's a super good skill. It's going to work on himself, which doesn't really matter if you're using his Brave skill, but if you go for a full forest party, then that's going to be a really good Brave skill. Otherwise, it's not incredibly useful in a mixed party. His auto skills, Thirst for War, reduces cooldowns for all skills when an enemy is defeated. Super nice. Being able to use skills fast is really important. And then Not Good Enough superbly increases your defense and magic defense when your HP is 50% or less. And that's not bad. Like, that's a fine ability, because you don't want to die if the boss starts swinging on, and he's going to be really good in a pinch, because when he gets down low, he'll be a lot more powerful. So we're going to move on to his Japanese page here quickly and just see if there's anything else. So they have him ranked at damage as an S, a break as A, and then the buff and debuff as a double S. So that's kind of where he gets all his ranking from. And if you take a look over here, we can take a look at his suggested stuff. So he has a special SSR weapon that is suited for him, but there's lots of other stuff that you can use with him. It's all going to be on here as well. So finally, we're going to talk about Heath Bell. And here he is on screen. We'll go over to his wiki page and let's level him up to level 90. So he's going to get the most HP out of all these guys, but otherwise his stats are fairly similar. His attack is a little bit higher than the other two as well, but let's take a quick look at the defense. I think his defense is a little bit lower, but his magic defense is fine too. So he is probably the best statted out of the three that we've talked about so far. And then we'll just move down to his battle skills again. So he's got Dragon Star Steel, which deals 400% physical damage to an enemy and increases the critical hit chance of your next skill. That's really huge because critical hits are obviously going to be important for this guy. Punisher is his next skill. It deals 480% physical damage and a critical hit strikes twice. So obviously you're going to want to use Dragon Star Steel first, then you're going to use Punisher. Hopefully you hit a critical, it's going to hit again. Then he has Dragon Vice, which does 680% physical damage to enemy, greatly boosts your attack when hitting from the side. So boosting his own attack, obviously a very, very powerful skill, and this is part of why he's ranked so highly with his abilities. So then he has Blade Vortex, this is number 4, and that does 1030% physical damage to the enemy, and a critical hit deals 2 times break damage. So if you have anything else that can increase the critical hit on your characters, then this is the guy to put it on because he benefits big time from those critical hits. His Brave skill is the True Alabaster Dragon Slice, which is a 3 BP cost, and it does at max level 2,890% physical damage and strikes twice when your HP is 50% or more. So if his HP is 50% or higher, which is going to be the start of every battle, and throughout a lot of battles, he's going to be able to hit twice with his Brave skill, which is why you might not be controlling them yourself so that you can have them ready to go with that Brave skill. It's so strong. This is an incredibly powerful Brave skill. And then for auto skills, he's got Knight of Knights, because he's the greatest knight. And that increases the rate of Brave God's generation when not knocked out of battle. So just as long as he is up, he's going to be increasing your rate, which is good because his Brave skill costs 3 BP, so you need to be able to recharge quickly. And then Alabaster Dragon Successor superbly increases rate of critical hits. Of course it does. Of course he has that, because look at this package. He is insane. And then again, let's just jet over to the Japan wiki and take a quick look here. So they've got him at double S for damage, and then S for break, and an S for buff debuff. He's got his own sword that's quite important, and they just go on and on about how strong he is on this page, because he's just, it doesn't even matter. So he's a light unit, so his skills can widely be used regardless of an enemy's attribute, which is pretty amazing. And then there's just lots of other recommendations here for. We've got one that specializes in debuffs. We've got one that specializes in breaking. So Alicia is our break specialist. Shyus is going to be our debuff specialist, and then Heath Bell is just going to be our damage specialist. But they're all going to be double S class at what they do best, and that's why you can't really go wrong picking one of these up with your reroll, because you're just going to be ready to go for the rest of the game with a super strong unit. And again, if we go back to this Japanese tier list, let's take a look. This is however many months in the future when this game's been out since 2019 in Japan, and Alicia is still second. We've got Shyus over here, and then right next to him we have Heath Bell. So that's pretty amazing. There's a couple other units here. So we've got Night Ride, and we've actually got Water Fianna, which is, so we've got 2 of our starter characters that got revamped are up at the top here, and then there's a few other new ones. You might even notice this guy right here is our villain of the game, Quo, so he's also going to be pullable in the future. So that's going to be it for me though, so I really hope that this has helped you decide whether or not you want to just go ham on your re-rolling and try to pull one of these units. It's certainly going to be worth it, and if I wasn't pretty happy with my party, I'd probably be re-rolling as well. So good luck to you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can show your support with a like and subscribe. and by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/MysidiaGaming. Until next time, keep it real, Mysidians.